You did an article kind of grading the offensive depth. Let's run through that. We'll go skill position first. Quarterback B plus, running back A plus, wide receiver D plus. So take us through your thoughts there.
Well, if you just look at go start with a running back, as is right now, that room is stacked, completely stacked. Now it's going to look a lot different when they get to 53. It all hinges on Jerome Ford. He may prove to be ready for the moment and kind of push a couple other players out, and maybe it looks a little different. But they're so stacked at that area that they could afford. No one wants to see Nick Chubb get injured, but if they did, wouldn't be at the end of the world. Transfer to wide receiver. If Amari Cooper gets hurt, the Browns are in a heap of trouble. They don't have the proper depth of people ready to contribute now. They have Amari Cooper and they have an ascending player in DPJ, but behind that they have a lot of unproven commodities that you can't put all your hopes and dreams in. Now they have a speedster, but it hasn't been proven yet. They do have a gadget guy in Jakeem Grant who can do a little bit from the slot, and they're hopeful that Bell can take a big role, just right out of the gate. But there's no guarantees in that. So they're very thin. They're a team that I expect, if one of these guys doesn't step up, one of these bottom of the roster guys doesn't step up, they're going to be in the market for a veteran after cuts happen, here later in summer.
Yeah, it sure seems like they're trying to give the young guys a chance to, claim a role in that offense. All right, on the line, you go interior offensive line, so center and guards A, offensive tackle C minus, tight ends D. Take us through those. Let's start with the tight ends.
Well, we're looking at the Browns are a team that employs a lot of heavy tight end schemes. Now I know that's going to lessen this year with Deshaun Watson and how their offense is going to be tweaked slightly, but that's not going to go away completely. And as of right now, they have 2 proven tight ends. That's not good. I know Miller Forstall has shown well so far in OTAs, and right now he's the leader in the clubhouse for that tight end 3, but they need at least 4, which brings us to the hyphens. They brought in 3 players, Griffin Stewart, Mitchell Payton, and Silva Santos. And they're just hoping one of those young guys latch on. They can prove to be worthy. And you're also going, that 4th tight end also has to pull a lot of special teams duty, So for a team that employs a lot of heavy tight end schemes, they really have nothing past 1 and 2. And once again, what if you have an injury to, say, Harrison Bryant sprains his ankle again? It's one thing to not say you can't run 13 personnel, but to not be able to run your 12 personnel, that is an issue.
That's fair enough. And let's talk a little bit about tackle before we move on. If healthy again, Conklin and Wills were good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the room that's completely health dependent, because on paper, you look at Chris Hubbard, that's an excellent swing tackle. He's a veteran. He's played every position down the line, but he hasn't finished the season in the last 2 years, And with Conklin coming off the torn patella, that's a huge concern, because then you obviously just default to James Hudson, who showed improvement last year, but you would be expecting a huge leap from him in year 2 to be a solid starter for sure, if not nothing else, just a swing tackle. So you basically got 2 tackles behind Conklin. One of them, Hubbard, who's very experienced, has health issues himself, and Hudson, we have to see it. That's basically what it comes to. After that, you have a bunch, Alex Taylor. They got some guys that are working, but nobody that you could depend on. So that's the reason I grade that at a C minus. Now that could definitely improve if Hubbard stays healthy, because I believe he could be an excellent swing tackle.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And just look how deep they went. They were on their 4th and 5th tackles last year as starters for a couple of games.